have been central to the culture and religion of the Great Basin tribes and have purposefully lived in harmony with the plants and animals of our Aboriginal lands in a delicate, natural, and spiritual balance. We need to ask ourselves, which I've already heard this in the presentations prior to this, is water a commodity or is it a right? The Southern Nevada Water Authority project impact area affects the ancestral lands of 5 other federally recognized tribes in addition to ours, which are the Ely Shoshone, Duckwater Shoshone, Paiute tribes of Utah, Scott Valley Band of Goshutes, and the Timoke tribe of Western Shoshone. Imagine, if you will, 306 miles of buried pipeline at 16 to 84 inches in diameter to pipe our region's water south. This is actually a picture, an example of the pipe above ground, but this will actually be buried. This would be at a cost of $3.5 to $6 billion. Who pays for this? I don't know. We know from long-standing practical experience, if you'll notice from this picture, this is about the size of the pipe that's going to be under the ground. We know from long-standing practice, experience in this region that Southern Nevada Water Authority's proposed groundwater pumping and export would lower the groundwater table of our Aboriginal lands, will result in harmful impacts to our environment that will be irreversible and detrimental to all life. Dry up the springs and wells that sustain the entire ecology and economy of these lands. The groundwater is almost and only and by far the most essential water supply available to the tribes, farmers, hunters, ranchers, and all residents of the neighboring communities within the Great Basin. Severely and irreparably harm the human, animal, and plant communities of this region. And I believe there was another presentation that talked about climate change, so I'm not going to go too far into that either. Then there's the threat of air quality after the devastating effects of no water to sustain vegetation and ground moisture. An example of this is the Owens Valley catastrophe resulting from removal of large amounts of water from the rural desert areas to fuel explosive growth in a distant city. In the 1980s, Owens Valley became the single worst source of particulate pollution in the nation, registering at 23 times the level allowed by federal health standards. Now, this is what threatens our area. And so there's a picture of a dust storm that is in the valley of Owens Valley. I have some more things to talk about, but due to time constraint, I'm just going to skip through these ones. These are pictures of Owens Valley and the devastation that followed the pumping. And this is a news clipping of a dust storm in Owens Valley. We anticipate similar consequences should water be pumped from our area. We anticipate that many streams, springs, and ponds will run dry, that well water levels will drop, and that increased dust storms will plague the Great Basin, including the Wasatch Front. Other factors that impact or impede our well-being include insurmountable costs in attorney fees and associated legal costs, great efforts, time, and energy expended towards this cause, failed economic development endeavors, thus losing prospective sustainable revenue for our tribe. An example of this is our failed alternative energy projects and a wasteful government spending from our standpoint. We recognize the immensity of the challenge before us, as well as the fact that additional expertise, tools, and partnerships will be needed to maintain and prevail in our fight to protect our natural resources. We will continue to raise more money and seek out additional funding sources to keep up with the surmounting costs to protect our homeland, natural resources, and culture. We encourage interest in the general public, special interest groups, formulation of new coalitions, and so on, to assist us in our initiative. Increased use of technology such as websites to keep people informed and up to date on progress. A lot of our people don't have that kind of expertise, so we need to reach out for that. Southern Nevada Water Authority has bought out substantial land from private owners, but we want the public to understand we are here for the long haul in this fight for our water rights. We can't just simply sell our land and walk away so that Las Vegas can buy it. They can't purchase our land. We're going to be here for. Looks like my time is up. So. Oh.
No, I'm sorry. I gave you a heart attack.
I was on a momentum. The Supreme Court held that when Indian reservations were established, the tribes in the United States implicitly reserved along the land sufficient water to fulfill the purposes of the reservations. Federal Indian water rights are defined and governed by a body of federal law that recognizes that Indian tribes have unique property and sovereignty rights in the water on our reservations. Because Indian reservations were established before most water uses began in the West, tribes often hold the oldest and thus most valuable water rights, known as Aboriginal water rights, since Indians have occupied land since time immemorial. On the next few frames, please take note of the special rock formations in and around the reservation. These all hold special meanings to us. We are stewards of these lands, and our people, once occupied, still occupy, and will remain occupied upon. So we need to take the steps necessary to defend our fullest capacity, our land, water, air, and animals that nurture the roots of our Goshute culture. Do you guys know what this is? You guys don't see a lizard right there? Another one right there? As tribal leaders, we think about the future of our people. We think about the decisions we make now and how will it benefit and protect our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We must protect our sovereignty and understand its impact upon our land, people, and resources. Here's another land formation. I'm not sure if you already figured that one out. I want to acknowledge and thank some support networks for their most appreciated efforts in our endeavors. The Great Basin Water Network has taught us a lot, and we appreciate them. The Utah and Nevada tribes have supported us, and we appreciate that. The Round River Conservation Studies is continually working with us right now to assist us with the cultural mapping and some other issues and initiatives that are coming up, because we don't just deal with this issue, we deal with the whole gob of issues tribally. And so in the National Congress of American Indians, I also want to thank the Utah Division of Indian Affairs, Forrest Kutch. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate everything that you've done for us. You've been great to work with, and I'm saddened to hear that you've been let go from office. And truly, I will miss you. Various funding sources as well. Some of those funding sources did not want their name to be released here, so I'll keep that confidential for them. And in this picture, do you guys see that? That's pretty prominent, right? Water is an essential part of our lives. From the moment we are born to the last day of our life, we have great respect for the power of water and use it resourcefully, respectfully, and guardedly. We, the Goshute people, understand our land and its natural resources the best. We are the experts, and we are working to preserve it. This is our former chairman, Rupert Steele. This is one of the elders of our tribe. She was professional basket maker. I mean, she was recognized for it nationally. Every living body and organism needs water for survival. Most of my presentation was from a tribal point of view, but I want each of you to think in terms of generations after you that this may impact, especially if you live in or near the Great Basin area. Power, money, and politics are pressuring us to sacrifice our environment so that Las Vegas can prosper. Please keep that in your mind. Here are several ways that you can help our tribe in the Great Basin Water Grab. I want to thank you for your attention, and it's been a tumultuous journey for the tribe, but we are warriors, and we will keep moving forward, I promise.